Welcome to AI Paper Drop. I'm Alex.
And I'm Maya.
What if the biggest bottleneck in AI scientific progress isn't the intelligence of the models, but the fact that the tests we use to grade them are fundamentally broken?
That sounds like a conspiracy theory for nerds. Like, are you saying the AI is actually smarter than the benchmarks?
Exactly. Think about SciCode. It's basically the gold standard for scientific coding. It doesn't just ask a model to write a snippet of Python. It asks it to solve research-level physics and math problems and turn them into working numerical code.
Right, that's a high bar. You need to actually understand the frontier theory and then implement it perfectly. If a model fails that, you assume it just doesn't get the physics.
And for a while, that's exactly what it looked like. The top models were hitting this wall. They'd cluster around 60% accuracy on subproblems and then just stop. No matter how much more compute or data we threw at them, the needle wouldn't move.
Which is the classic signal for a plateau. Everyone starts wondering if we've reached the limit of what current architectures can actually reason through.
Right? But it turns out the plateau wasn't in the AI's brain. It was in the grading rubric.
Wait, so you're telling me we've been telling the world that AI is struggling with science, but the test was just wrong?
Pretty much. The researchers found that the benchmark was riddled with what they call score-suppressing defects. Imagine taking a high-level physics exam, providing the mathematically perfect answer, and the teacher marks it wrong because they have a typo in their own answer key.
That is the ultimate student nightmare. But how common was this? A few typos here and there?
Way more than a few. They did a full-scale audit. Every single one of the 65 problems. And they found 263 defects. Nearly every single main problem had something wrong with it.
Wait, if 91% of the problems are flawed, how did this even become the standard? Who is using this thing?
That's the wild part. It's used in government suites and national laboratories. It's an official component of the AI Analysis Intelligence Index. It's a high-stakes benchmark, but it was essentially a buggy piece of software.
So, how do you actually fix a benchmark like this? You can't just run a spell checker on quantum mechanics.
Exactly. This is where the researchers had to go back to basics. They created something called SciCode-Verified. They brought in domain experts to resolve the problems from scratch. They stopped looking for bitwise reproduction and started looking for physical verification.
Break that down for me. What's the difference between bitwise reproduction and physical verification?
Okay, imagine you're grading a math paper. Bitwise reproduction is like saying the student's answer is only correct if the digits match the teacher's key exactly, down to the 10th decimal place. If the teacher wrote 3.14 and the student wrote 3.14159, the student gets a 0.
That's insane. In science, that's actually just being more precise.
Exactly. Physical verification is different. It's like saying, does this answer obey the laws of physics? Does it make sense within the constraints of the problem? It's checking if the result is actually correct, not if it's a mirror image of a potentially flawed key.
So they basically stopped grading by handwriting and started grading by logic. But did that actually change the scores, or did it just make the models feel better?
Oh, it changed everything. When they reevaluated the same models on a verified benchmark, the numbers didn't just nudge up. They skyrocketed.
Give me the numbers. How much of a jump are we talking about?
For the main problems, the accuracy went from a dismal 9 to 27%, up to 69 to 92%. For the subproblems, they went from 45 to 60%, up to 84 to 98%.
Hold on. 9% to 92%? That is actually wild. That's not a marginal improvement. That's a completely different league of performance.
It's a total reversal. It means the models already had the capability to solve these frontier problems. They were doing the work correctly, but the benchmark was punishing them for it. There's this thing the researchers call the right-wrong paradox.
The right-wrong paradox. I like the sound of that. What is it?
It's when a model uses the correct textbook formula, but because the answer key had a flipped sign or was missing a constant, the model was marked wrong. The model was essentially being penalized for being too smart for the test.
So the AI was basically saying, hey, your math is wrong, and the benchmark was responding with, I don't care, just be wrong like I am.
Precisely. In one case, they found a problem that was so fundamentally broken and underdetermined that it was impossible to solve. No matter what the AI did, it could never pass. They had to just delete the whole problem from a set.
This makes me wonder about every other benchmark we use. If this happened with a specialized scientific one, is it happening in general reasoning too?
That's the big question. Most benchmarks are created by humans, and humans make mistakes, especially in complex fields like physics, where a tiny error in a specification can change the whole outcome. The paper mentions that 78% of these defects required specialized physics or math knowledge to even find. You couldn't just hire a proofreader. You needed a scientist.
Which means the very people we need to verify the AI are the ones who are most likely to be stretched too thin to double-check every single line of a benchmark.
Right. And the scary part is that when the benchmarks are flawed, we might be accidentally training AI to mimic human errors. If we use these flawed sets for reinforcement learning, we're basically teaching the model to hallucinate in the exact same way the human author did just to get a high score.
That's a terrifying loop. We aren't testing intelligence. We're testing the ability to guess a broken key.
Exactly. But the silver lining here is that the AI's latent ability is much higher than we thought. It means the bottleneck for scientific discovery via AI might not be the model's reasoning capacity, but our own ability to provide clear, correct instructions.
So the takeaway is that the tools we use to measure progress are often the things holding back our perception of that progress.
Exactly. Because if your yardstick is bent, you'll never get a straight measurement.
If you're enjoying this, follow or subscribe to AI Paper Drop wherever you listen. It really helps, and we have a new episode every day.
Paper by Sahan Hu, Luan Huang, Eugene Deng, Kuan Chun, produced by AI Paper Drop.